Hi and welcome back to my channel. It's been quite a while since I uploaded a video. I think it was last year, and things have changed. I mean, last time I uploaded I was pregnant. My boy is now 6 months old. Life's just got in the way, but I'm here today to do a knitting podcast. We'll talk about WIPS, things that I'm working on, and yarn acquisitions. Although, spoiler alert, there are no yarn acquisitions because I am on a yarn ban. I am not allowed to buy myself any yarn. I am using what's in my stash. So we're shopping from the stash with a plan that then get my stash down, and then we have plans to go to Copenhagen for my birthday in November, and I will buy all the yarn that I can there. So we'll start with what I'm wearing. This is the Olga jacket by Petiteknit. I knit this in Drops Merino Extra Fine in the off-white and the forest green colour. I love her. I think she's great. Very versatile piece, and I've got a lot of wear out of her. It's a really good yarn. There's a theme. I've used a lot of this yarn because this yarn is perfect for kids' knits, as I've learned. So we will start with my WIPS. It's kind of the most on the go at the moment. And that is the Free Sweater by Spektakelstrik. So this project I'm doing because it is using up a lot of scrap yarn. So the base colour is the off-white of Drops Merino Extra Fine, the same one that's on this Olga jacket. And all of the different spot colours are leftover DK that is in my stash. So the green is the leftover from the Olga jacket. The blue is leftover Drops Daisy, which I had one ball of. I used it to make a pixie bonnet for my son, and then I had like a third of a ball left, so it's been quite perfect for this, to be honest. The pink is also Drops Daisy. I have two balls of it in stash. Couldn't tell you what I bought it for, like with the intention of making, I can't remember. So it's been coming handy for this. The orange is Yarn Smith's Merino DK, that was left over from another jumper I made my son. Same with the mustard yellow. And the red is a leftover Drops Daisy from the Maggie cardigan by Petiteknit, which I've never finished. That is just dying in my abandoned WIPS pile, but maybe one day I'll get around to it. So the pattern calls for the ribbing and stuff to be done in the same colour as the main colour. Not me. No, I decided with the help of TikTok that I was going to do all different colours. So I've done blue for the neckline, green for the body, and then pink for the arm ribbing. And then for the second arm, I'm torn between whether to do the mustard yellow or the red. I keep going back and forth, but we'll decide when I get there. So that's her. I've made this in the 12 to 18 month size because although my son is 6 months old, he's a tall boy. And in theory, it's supposed to be getting warmer in the UK. Haven't got much evidence of that yet, but in theory, so I've made it a bit bigger because then he can get some more wear out of it. But I love her. I think it's great. This has a different kind of construction to what I'm used to because it was knit flat and then seamed together, which is not my favourite, but I understand why because of the way the colour work is. So yeah, so that is my first WIP. Next WIP is by Petiteknit, and this is the Dagmar jacket, although it is very twisted. So this is the Dagmar jacket. I am knitting this up in Cascade 220 in the hot pink colour. I originally had intended to knit it with mohair. I had some hot pink Drops Kid Silk, but when I did the gauge swatch, I just didn't like it. I didn't like them together. I think because you could see like the white from the Drops Kid Silk against this pink, so I thought, no, I'm not going to. So this is just Cascade to 20. So as you can see, I've done the front and the back, and I've kind of joined for the body. We're making slight progress. I'll be honest, I haven't picked this up in about 2 weeks. I had said to myself, oh, do you know what, I'm going to treat myself and I will pick up a sleeve, and then I used the cable I'd used for sleeves for something else, so I just haven't done it. So we're making some progress. It's just difficult because obviously there's a lot of stitches on the needles, and as you can see, I have just stopped partway through a row, so you know. That's her. I love it. I was quite tempted to make this in like a more neutral colour because I saw everybody on Instagram was making it a neutral, but I thought, no, do you know what? That's just not very me. So we've gone for the brightest hot pink that is known to man. And I love it. And I'm a big fan of Cascade 220. It's just a very solid yarn, and I don't really think you can go wrong with it. Speaking of abandoned WIPs, we have the sweater number 29 by My Favourite Things Knitwear. So I cast this on at the beginning of the year, I think, and I made very good progress in a very short amount of time because it's a very simple and repetitive cable pattern. Big fan. I am knitting this up in Isia soft silk mohair with the Jensen yarn in this icy blue colour. I have had both of these in stash for ages. I got the mohair for Christmas last year, and then I got some Jensen at the beginning of last year. I just had to buy a few more balls of mohair to match them together, but that's what I decided to make with it. Originally, I was going to make the Esther sweater by Petiteknit, but then I saw somebody else had made the sweater number 29 using this combination, and I was just like, I need to do it. I like the colour. It's like an icy blue kind of colour. I'm a big fan. I like kind of the, you can't really see on camera, but in person it's kind of, the colour's more variated because of the slight colour difference between the mohair and the Jensen. And I really like that. I'd said to myself when I finished the last ball of Jensen that I'll pick up the neckline. It hasn't happened. And because I came to the end of a ball, I then just haven't had the motivation to pick it up again. I round the ball up and everything, I just haven't done it. This is the issue. I'm a multiple WIPS girl. I like having multiple things on the go, and then I just get distracted by something new and shiny, and it is a problem. So I will pick this up. This week I will do something with this. I don't know if I have a cable that will be small enough for a neckline, but I will do something. I will do something with this. So that's that. So the project that I ended up starting, which is using the smaller cable I would usually have then picked up for the neckline with, is also by Spektakelstrik, and it's the In the Mood beanie. So this is her. I'm not sure if I had started the porcelain sweater by my last podcast or not, but I knit the porcelain sweater by Lynette. Everyone and their mum has knit that sweater, but I had some leftover yarn, so I'd knit the porcelain sweater in Sanders Garn, Peergin with their soft silk mohair in the white, and then the blue as the contrast. And I had a ball of each left. Well, slightly more of the white. I think I had a bit more of the mohair anyway. I had this left and I didn't know what to do with it. So then I decided to knit this. And I'm sorry, but I think these colours look so cool together. Like, so cool. I love it. I think it's great. So I've dropped some stitches here. That's not good, is it? So yeah, so I decided that. So as you can see, I've done kind of the first bit, and then I have folded to work on the other side for when it's folded over. This is a really good colour work pattern, to be honest, because it's quite repetitive and you do get the hang of it quite easily. And I just think the colours are really cool. I think it's really cool, and it's one I'm not putting pressure on myself for, because realistically, I'm not going to wear it anytime soon. If we think about it, in theory, it shouldn't be cold enough for me to wear it anytime soon. So I'm making the most of that, and I'm just picking it up and putting it down when I feel like it, really. Which I quite like, and because the colour work chart isn't too complicated, it allows me to do that, if that makes sense. So that's another one I have on the go. If you couldn't tell, I like a whip. I like having multiple options, but it's okay because I only have 2 more whips. So next is my knit that lives in my son's change bag, and this is the Weekend Hat by Petiteknit, but in the 1 to 2 year size. So I realised quite soon that remembering everything for a baby when you leave the house is difficult. Trying to remember things for yourself, like knitting on top of that, even more difficult. And the amount of times I get nap trapped in the car because he's decided to fall asleep in the car before we get home and I'm not risking transferring is ridiculous. So I decided to put a project that will live in his change bag so that when I'm out and about, if I get stuck in the car, I have something to work on. And that's where this has come about. So this is all that I've worked on while being sat nap trapped in a car. So if you can't tell, I've done the first kind of little bit of double knitting ready for the fold, and then we're working up for the next bit. This is being worked up in Double Sunday by Sanders Garn in the Cobweb blue colour. This is left over from my typical sweater number 1, which I think in my last video I had said that was dying a death in the whip graveyard, but I finished that. I finished that when my son was a newborn because it was good to have a project that was like easy to kind of pick up and knit. So I had a ball and a little bit left of that, and this is what I'm making with it. Basically, I think it's great. So it's just a good one to have. Again, not putting pressure on myself to finish it because in theory he shouldn't need a hat anytime soon. So we're thinking like for the autumn kind of next year. But it's just good to have, and it lives in his change bag, and I need to now remember to put this back in his change bag once I finish filming this, because otherwise that will be a nightmare. So we are on to my final WIP, and this is one that I started as part of my advent. So this year for my advent calendar, my partner got me the James Makes Yarn advent calendar. It was called like Art Club. I didn't know what I was going to do with the yarn from that advent calendar, but then I decided to do the Sweetshop blanket by Penrose. So this is what I've done so far. Originally I started saying, oh, I'm going to do one a day. Bear in mind at this point I had a 1-month-old baby, so I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. That was never going to be a good idea, so that very quickly failed. So I've just kind of been picking it up as I go along. Obviously I haven't picked it up in weeks, but it's quite good to do. So I'm doing half a square in the yarn from the advent, and the other one is drops merino extra fine in the off-white. I have quite a lot of it in stash, to be fair. But yeah, so this is kind of what I've been working on. I love all the different colours. I think he did such a good job in the dyeing of this, and I have got James to pre-order the advent calendar for this year, so I'm very excited for that. Hopefully I'll finish this one by then. So this is the colourway I'm working on for this next square. So I've just kind of been working on them. Each square has only used up about half of a ball of yarn. So I don't really know what I'm going to do with the rest of it, because I do feel like, you know, I need to be using all the yarn in my stash. So if anyone has any like cool scrappy yarn kind of ideas, it's the DK weight is the one that I've gone for. Like, so obviously it's all these different colours plus the other colours. So if anybody has like any cool ideas for what I could use the rest of this yarn for, please hit me up in the comments, like let me know, because I'm looking for ideas, and kind of make the most use out of it. I could maybe make another one of these, but then realistically, when I finish this, am I going to want to make another one? Probably not. So I could make it even bigger and just use it double, I guess. Like make one more square for each. I don't know. We'll see how I feel when I get to the end of it. But yeah, any other ideas are greatly appreciated. So believe it or not, that is all of my WIPs. That's everything I'm kind of working on at the moment. Like I said, I love multiple WIPs and having multiple things kind of going on. Hopefully I won't kind of give up on this, and we'll film an update and you'll see if I finish any of these things or if they will just die a death like some other stuff. So yeah, no yarn acquisitions because I'm not buying anything. I do have plans to make Christmas jumpers for my son, and then my best friend's having a baby in the summer, so I'm going to make them matching jumpers, which I think will be so cute. So I will have to buy yarn for that, so that's quite exciting. But like I said, other than that, not buying any yarn. We're just shopping from the stash, which I have made quite a dent in actually. I'm really proud of my progress. So yeah, so let me know what everyone else is working on, and hopefully see you next time.